What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing my season 3 retrospective for young Sheldon. Let's go. There's only 21 episodes in the season because of COVID kind of messed up, and then season 3 episode 22 just ended up being season 4 episode 1. So yeah, let's get into this. And next week I'm going to be uploading my Rogue One review before Andor comes out, so stay tuned for that. I'm just getting this.
So, season 3, episode 1, Sheldon's going insane, like usual. Made you kind of feel bad for Mary when she just saw Sheldon like this, just kind of kidnapping himself. I mean, Mary actually kind of acts concerned, especially because Dr. Sturgis is in the hospital, so yeah, and then her and Sheldon kind of get concerned about each other. I like that stuff. I thought it was pretty funny. Okay, this isn't the most entertaining episode, but I do like when they're just kind of getting odds with each other and kind of fight, and then George kind of has to like, "Hey, you're both acting like lunatics." Actually, the light thing that Mary had over her book was actually really smart, though. So good for you, Mary. Also, when George is describing Doctor Sturgis in the bed, and he goes like, "Goog goog goog," that was absolutely hilarious. Oh man! Then George, of course, Sheldon paused, and oh man, it was great. Mary in the library trying to get the book, and the librarian says, "Oh yeah, you still want the crazy kid one." That was great. We see the therapist again as well. He kind of appeared in the first season for a bit, and I guess he returns here. Yay! And he's the guy who kept saying, "Right on, right on." Uh, so yeah, he's back, and I mean, Mary is pretty angry with him, pretty annoyed with him in this episode for some weird reason. Like, why does Mary have to get angry at people unnecessarily? Like, when she's a Christian, she's not supposed to be doing that kind of stuff. Okay, okay, like he wasn't even trying to do anything. But Mary thought that he was trying to take credit for what Mary was doing. That's not what was going on, Mary.
So the second plot of this episode is where Georgie goes around as a door-to-door salesman and sells Texas snow globes. Now this episode is fun. I like how Mimo just shoves the door in his face and how she actually buys some when she realizes that it was a bet against George. That was fun, but I mean this plot is kind of boring because I guess it's just Georgie knocking on people's doors all the time, and really there's no realization when and there's no kind of lesson here of how he's supposed to be a good door salesman. He just becomes one all of a sudden. Like seriously, he was good. He was bad. Then he just became a good one all of a sudden. It just doesn't make any sense. Like when did he learn to be a good door salesman? That was that deleted scene that just happened off screen. We should have an extra scene of that. Come on, episode. That would be cool. Just a 30-second scene of him realizing something. Maybe I've forgotten someone told him over dinner or something. I don't know. So because of this big plot hole, I think I rather the other plot. But whatever, this is a pretty good start to the season. Not as good as the season 2 start though. Although this episode will be kind of important and kind of in the few episodes later on, Georgia kind of becoming the salesman that we all know and love. Season 3, episode 2, Sheldon hides in a broom closet because he wants to learn more efficiently. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of strange, but you know what? It's Sheldon, so yeah, okay. This was kind of funny. I love when George catches him and he was like talking to his son through the door, and this girl just kind of walked up, and that was hilarious, man. That was on fire. But this is because of Dr. Sturgis again. He doesn't have those classes to go to, so I'm kind of liking how they're kind of taking advantage of of Dr. Sturgis being away, and that kind of being all these 4 episodes with Dr. Sturgis being away that like services the plot. That's really nice. They're taking advantage of Dr. Sturgis being in a mental hospital. That's good. That's good. Especially because I don't think Dr. Sturgis is ever going to go to a mental hospital anymore. But yeah, that's what's fun. It eventually leads into the parents fighting. Yeah, it develops into a fight where George is like just refusing to take out the trash and do that kind of stuff. Also, Mary is kind of dealing with the whole Pastor Jeff situation, him being on a date with Robin, and actually I forgot until I just saw this footage right now. I thought it was pretty funny, especially when Georgie went on the calls. Okay, so the actual date was actually really, really fun, and them just having a good time. It's kind of sad what happens in season 5, looking at this episode. It's one of the episodes where the parents fight, but they actually get over their problems, and it's kind of weird. It's kind of annoying that George just doesn't do this in season 5. Well, I guess he kind of does that in season 5, episode 3. But like, do it more often, man. Take Mary out on a date or do something like that. Maybe just to get your it's this, keep your marriage on track. Because if you've seen season 5, you know that their marriage is going horribly wrong. So yeah, it was nice for them to spend some time with each other and stuff like that, and mentioning the kids and all that, and they kind of bond over how life would be so much better without them. My parents don't think life would be better without me, right? Also, the second plot has Dr. Linklater here again, and he just has Sheldon in his class for an excuse for Connie to be there and them to spend some time together, but Connie just leaves to be honest because she's a boss. Yeah, he's grown a beard now, so that this is him season 3. I don't know, man. I'm just saying it. I like the whole plot. Just Doctor Linklater getting annoyed by Sheldon. That doesn't really take up that much of the time, so it's fine. Then at the end, is like no wonder Doctor Sturgis went crazy. No, Doctor Linklater, you got it wrong. The reason why Doctor Sturgis went crazy is because of him not having any success in life. Okay, just remember that now. Also, Georgie and Missy play with a Ouija board, so that's cool. They're gonna contact Satan. I don't know what's to do with this. I don't even know what it is. For some reason, Missy thinks she's gonna go to hell or something like that because she lied. Okay, I feel like this is a bit weird, but oh, okay, sure. Even nice moment, and then Pastor Rob, no, fuck, shit, and Pastor Jeff and Robin decided they're gonna get married. I mean, it's an insanely stupid decision, but all right. 'Cause they can't have intercourse when Pastor Rob with Pastor. Yeah, keep saying Pastor Rob because they can't have intercourse before marriage because he's a pastor. Yeah, it's actually a really nice episode. Okay, lots going on, and then we get to see that Dr. Linkletter again, and parents go on a date, and this is all overall just a really fun episode. A lot going on in it. It's also nice to see Pastor Jeff's more vulnerable side. Okay, we're kind of getting to see more of his personality in these later seasons. Season 3, episode 3 is one that I definitely remember a lot. It's one of the more memorable ones, of course. Shall the actor, sorry, this Doctor. Fuck me, man. Dr. Linklater does, plots another plan to get on a date with Connie by asking her out in front of Sheldon and inviting them to a robotics lecture. So, yeah, and there's all at least Sheldon gets spanked on the bottom. Though I feel like I don't think this is a bad thing, but me and Matt kind of like overreacted when Sheldon just called her selfish. Okay, you know what? Okay, it's not a very nice thing to say. Okay, he even ends up saying it to his parents, which is even worse because like Sheldon, the last time you said that, you got spanked. Like seriously, whatever. So Sheldon, pretty immature in this episode, even runs away, and I just love the where he's talking to that old train station officer, or not bus station guy, just for like hours, man. Then talking to the lady on the bus, that was really fun, and yeah. And for some reason, he left his location on in a code. Like why? Why would you even do that? That's like when Luke left the location of the island with R2. Like what the hell, man? If you wanted to hide away from everybody, just don't even leave anything behind. They're gonna figure out where you are. Okay, that's just stupid. Overall, this is a fun episode, and Sheldon ends up apologizing to his family over Star Trek. So yeah, I love all the family just trying to unwrap the code and all that. That was just some great family tension, and George was just ended up being useless. Oh, good old George. Also, I love the cut between Sheldon calling his parents selfish and then just Missy asking him how long you're grounded for. That was actually pretty funny. The cut they did there. Overall, this is a great episode. One of my favorites of the season so far. But yeah, I mean, this season only has 3 episodes so far. That's not really saying much, is it? Okay, so when this episode, season 3, episode 4, shows starts reading Lord of the Rings because he's biting his nails because he doesn't have his because he's getting stressed out about science. Okay, well, I guess this one doesn't exactly have anything to really do with Doctor Sturgis, but whatever. I mean, he starts to go a little bit crazy. I like him trying out extra things like what Mima likes, like the bowling and the yoga. No, wait, no, not yoga, like the acrobatic. Well, whatever she was doing in the sitting room. Sheldon was stressing out a lot about science, and I was gonna be stressing out a lot about Lord of the Rings because there's a big like plot hole. At the beginning of the episode, we actually see the family at a restaurant, which barely ever happens. They usually is eating at home. I mean, but they're not having a very nice time because Sheldon's probably doing loads of math equations on the table while Missy's just drawing like just regular kid stuff. So great, they leave the table and they just leave Sheldon on her own. Wow. Seriously, if I had Sheldon as a brother, I would kill myself. Well, not kill myself, but I'd be really annoyed. Yeah. So also, Sheldon stays up all night in the garage doing crap at this Lord of the Rings. How are you this into Lord of the Rings, bro? I'm not even this into Star Wars. Like seriously, I'm not even this into the Big Bang Theory. I'm not this into anything. This. I like how he even asks his teachers about these things. Like, why do they care? And it's so stupid. Also, he has this vision about him becoming a hobbit or something like that. Yeah, weird. Also, when Sheldon's asking his teacher stuff, you can just see Georgie just regaining his life in the background, just all blurry. It was great. Wow. Also, Georgie's hair is like extra. Georgie's hair is like extra long in this episode. It's like wow. Georgie needs to get a haircut. But eventually, Sheldon goes back to science and blah 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 blah. Blah. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he likes Lord of the Rings of the Big Bang Theory. Wasn't there any mentions of that? I'm pretty sure, but whatever. I guess Sheldon gets over his Lord of the Rings phase for now. The second plot is, obviously a lot more important than chilling, getting into playing Lord of the Rings and having crazy dreams. Missy and George play baseball. It's actually really cute. It's really shows off how Missy has a lot bigger, much bigger relationship with George than Mary. I think last time I really had this connection was in late season one, where George took Missy to Red Lobster and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And in season four, they have a pretty good relationship. And obviously in season five, they he go through some rough patches, but they're cool. This is the start of them actually having really on screen having a very good father and daughter relationship. It was just nice seeing them interact and all that. Even though Missy was doing this for a boy, which I think was Marcus, who broke her heart. This comes up again later in the show, I think. But this guy becomes Missy's girlfriend later in the season. I'll get to that, but it's a little bit confusing to be honest. I never actually really like this plot. Okay, it really starts off a lot, and Sheldon Lord of the Rings plot is serviceable as well. So this is a good episode. Oh. In season 3, episode 5, Dr. Sturgis returns. Yay! And he gets a haircut. Wow, good haircut, Dr. Sturgis. And he breaks up with Connie. So this is a very important episode to the young Sheldon universe, the TBBTCU, the Big Bang Theory the Big Bang Theory cinematic universe. Yeah, made up of two shows. But yeah, very important episode, I guess. Kind of sets Doctor Sturgis in his path for this season. It's very important to this season, and yeah, eventually gets dropped when we get to season 5. I'm just saying, I love the interactions between George and Doctor Sturgis. They just go together like just perfectly. Okay, that's so good. What? Okay, just George kind of getting really embarrassed with Doctor Sturgis around. Okay, like come on, man. Sturgis is a weirdo. Okay, so yeah. It was so really funny. We actually got to see Ira again. That was cool. And they went on a date, and Ira's actually moved past Connie. So yeah, and this episode, and then she's kind of depressed. She's really annoyed that Doctor Strange had to break up with her because she's a sore loser. Kind of feel bad for Sheldon in this episode. He was so excited for Doctor Strange to come back, but then Mary just told him, "Yeah, he might not be coming over here as much." But he does still come over there a bit, and he brings pineapple. It's pineapple. But I think the favorite scene for this episode, I mean, there's two to be honest, because I love the scene where Mary sits everyone down, Georgie, Sheldon, and Missy, because George just he's not mature enough yet, He tells them to not make fun of Doctor Sturgis and stuff, and George and Georgie had a very cool conversation to not look at girls for like 3 seconds and stuff, and that was funny. And Sheldon proved their point. I just thought it was really funny. Okay, and George calling it the nut house. What? Also, on a more serious note, the other favorite scene was when Missy and Sheldon kind of talked to Mary about divorce, and it's another one of those kind of sad points in the series because I mean, like now we're kind of seeing the parents fight a lot more, and it's obvious that their marriage is kind of crumbling beneath them pretty fast. So going back to these episodes when they're talking about divorce here and stuff like that, and like when they were making these episodes, they knew that they had to tackle these points at some stage. That the end of the next season starts that. Um, so it's just kind of weird. Okay, like the episode when Mary and George went on a date. It's weird. Yeah, really good episode. August Church is back in the house, bro. Let's go. Okay, so season 3, episode 6, where they all go to this church carnival thing. This is actually one of my favorite parts about the episode. Sheldon's holding a big umbrella up above his head, so he's embarrassing himself and the whole family. Let's go. I love how Pastor Jeff just really wants to put Sheldon in a dunk tank because everyone would want to do that. I mean, even I would. Man, Sheldon getting dunked? Come on, man. But Mary wouldn't like that, and Sheldon would rather kill himself. Missy shows off her baseball talent, and I mean, it's pretty good. She gets the dunk like every single time, which is pretty good. I mean, I guess she's really, really good at baseball. Yay! Like she never gets to be this good at baseball again. I mean, like it's this episode, and then when she's playing baseball, it's like, yeah, she's playing baseball. You know, she's regular, except she's a girl. You know, that's the whole thing. I mean, she is a good pitcher, but then sometimes she just loses her speed, and just I mean, like it's kind of weird to go back here and say and see that she was really perfect. And I love everyone was crowding around them, cheering, and everyone's cheering except Sheldon. You know, he's always the odd one out here. There's also this kind of side plot with Georgie in this episode, kind of like on the side where he's kind of just hanging around with people, and then they keep telling them their life stories, and just like he's just like, yeah, he was there with Peg because at the carnival because he thought Veronica was going to be helping out, but then she got sick, so she had to listen to bloody Peg. I don't like her in these earlier episodes usually because she's just coughing all the time, and you know that was just kind of it. But I mean, here we get to see her life story. Yeah, I always remember the line. She's pregnant with who knows whose baby, and sleeping on a who knows couch, and that was weird. A Peg has a child. What? And she doesn't even know who the father is. Just saying, I would not want to be in that situation. And also, she brings Mima some beers, and then she has to listen to her life story about her sulking over not getting Dr. Sturgis or any other man because she's a big bitch. And then she goes over to Veronica's grandmother's house because she thinks she's going to be there. But then it's just Veronica's grandmother, so he has to listen to her for like hours. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was funny. Okay, just something on the side. It wouldn't be enough for the main plot, obviously, but it was funny. And also, of course, as I said, Miss fuck me. Mima's having a hard time getting over Dr. Sturgis, so she's just sitting around being a lump. Doesn't come to the carnival or anything or whatever. And yeah, she didn't really do much until it was time to get Missy into baseball. That she came over. Yeah, it was great, and she even got a date with the new character Dale. I'll share my opinions about his character later on, but I mean, his introduction is fine. It doesn't really, his introduction is not like, doesn't really show off how mean he can be, though. I mean, a lot of people here are sexist, okay? But girls don't usually play baseball. I mean, so it was cool. I don't really like how she's just kind of sulking all the time. Like, come on, man. I like her better in season 5, kind of, where she was annoyed, but you know, you couldn't really tell, you know. But maybe it was just because she has bigger feelings for Doctor Sturgis and all that than Dale. But you know, when she broke up with Dale in season 5, it was just it was rough. Or when she broke up here, it was Doctor Sturgis. It was rough. I don't know. I kind of wish she was more affected by this stuff, but whatever. Or the opposite. The opposite. Okay, she's me, Mom. I don't really think she'd be as affected by this stuff. But yeah, even when she's drunk, she can still count to 6. Also, Mary brings Sheldon to class, and we kind of get a little bit of a tour of the university, kind of, a little bit of the hallways and that crap. And we see Dr. Sturgis again. Dr. Sturgis makes a lot of appearances in season 3, even though he was at the mental hospital for like the first few episodes. This is Dr. Sturgis' season, so of course we have to see him again. So yeah, overall this was a pretty good episode, and yeah, it was pretty good. Okay, Mima got over it. I mean, I kind of she was cool how she got up and stuff for Missy, even though she was really drunk. So I mean that was cool. Okay, this episode's pretty good, other than the whole Mima stuff. But even then, it's not terrible. Young Sheldon season 3, episode 7. Oh yes, Missy's getting bullied at baseball because everyone's sexist. This is one of the few episodes where we actually see Missy going to school and kind of get bullied a bit, and it's kind of unfortunate we don't actually get to see as much of Missy going to school because kind of feels like don't we see much of Missy sometimes. We see a lot of her home life, and we get to see Mary at work, and we see George at work, and we see Georgie and of course Sheldon at school a lot of the time because of course they go to the same school, so that's easier. But Missy going to school, no, they never really got a chance to do that. Mainly because they have to create loads of new characters just because of that side of the story, and it wouldn't really be worth it. So it was nice just to get a little bit of a sneak peek, and we do get a bit of sneak peeks, just in other parts of the show, but nothing major. Of course, Brenda's overreacting about Missy doing baseball because it just, yeah. Did actually like the interaction that Brenda and Billy had when Billy was eating all the pudding. I thought that was funny. But it was kind of one over when Mary was just kind of again just all of a sudden got annoyed at Missy and told her to do baseball. I'm like, come on, man! They're having a really hard moment where Mary's kind of feeling sympathetic for Missy and said that she didn't have to play baseball and actually just forcing it on her. Yeah, that part I didn't like, and I mean, I guess it was kind of funny that she kind of just wrestled her way into winning. I mean, I guess that was actually kind of funny, and of course everyone's acting like in character. Miss Mimo is all for it, and Mary's just nope. Also, Sheldon has like fuck me, some sort of internet flame war or something like that. I mean, it was all right. Okay, Sheldon making advances and stuff, and Missy saying that on the internet no one can actually know who you are. Okay, so if you insult someone, it's not really gonna mean anything. Foreshadowing the internet. Oh, isn't that fun? Although I feel like it's kind of on the nose though. It doesn't really work out. Also, George and Dale spent some time together after the how things didn't really go off too good last episode. It's kind of weird. At the end of this episode, you could say that George and Dale have had as much screen together than like as much as Mima had with Dale. Yeah, that's just kind of weird. Whatever. Well, it's nice to see them interacting and stuff, and George and Mima's relationship. Yeah, it's continuing to grow. Whatever. I feel like in these seasons, they're kind of like fine with each other. They don't hate each other. But there's episodes like this that just kind of remind us that they're not always on the best of terms. I do hear people on Reddit say they don't like Dale, but I actually kind of like him. Okay, he doesn't actually come off as that mean in this episode, though. I mean that does come later on in the season. We do learn a lot about him. Okay, about like his family and how he's just divorced and stuff and has kids and all that. Oh well, this is a good episode. I really love this plot. So in season 3, episode 8, we get a Sheldon going to college story that is funny and kind of weird. You see Sheldon, Dr. Curtis tells George now that they're friends. Dr. Curtis tells George at the bar that Sheldon's is being invited to go to the university full time. That part of the story is not original in the slightest. But the part that is original is that all of Sheldon's teachers are begging Sheldon to not go, and also George. They don't want George to go either because if George goes, then Sheldon's gonna go, so they're kind of trying to get both of them to stay. Okay, and yeah. So there's a montage of Sheldon and George getting treated like kings. I mean, it's pretty funny, okay? Especially the parts with Sheldon and the part where like Sheldon's getting annoyed. That Sheldon says stuff about like the papers being even and a similar amount of holes in each one and stuff, and Miss McElroy gets really annoyed. Her facial expressions were hilarious. Okay, and they actually do this pretty well, and it ties into the main plot about the sin of greed and all that. Also, in the creme de la creme, Sheldon gets the bloody teacher's toilet bathroom, and yeah, that's Great plot. And we also get to see Dale's shop. That's cool. Okay. And he gives Georgie a job there, so that's pretty cool. And again, Georgie's start of the tire shop is not mentioned whatsoever. Great. I mean, actually, Herschel doesn't even appear again in the series. He is mentioned, but he doesn't even appear again in the series. So that's weird. Unfortunately, we don't actually get to see much of Georgie actually selling stuff in this episode, but we do get to see it in the future. So this is a pretty important episode to set up that whole thing of Georgie having a job. Okay, it plays into the rest of the season and season 5 and a bunch of that kind of stuff. I've always liked that kind of a bond that Georgie and Dale had. Kind of mirrors Sheldon and Dr. Sturgis. I kind of feel like it's a grandfather, kind of a grandson kind of vibe there. It was always really nice. Georgie looked up to Dale, okay, and I feel like now he kind of does that and looks up to Dale more than his dad, and that was a kind of a plot point that I liked in season 5. But the thing I don't like about this episode is the whole Mary part of the story at the end, where she just packs up all of everyone's things and just goes crazy. Like, okay, yeah, I know George's job has corrupted him and stuff like that, and but why take about everyone's things? Why take away the TV? Why take away the goober? Come on, that goober looked really nice. Yeah, okay, I just can't. I just don't understand. Okay, I don't understand. Okay, whatever. And Mima somehow convinced her to really give it all back. But whatever, it's just fine. To be honest, that part of the story was all blah, 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 blah. I like where they all came into Mima's house, and that's kind of why she had to convince Mary to give the old stuff back. But yeah, that plot's the worst part about the episode. Season 3, episode 9, Billy's throwing a birthday party, so he invites Missy and, well, not Sheldon. So I'm just kind of asking, did Brenda just throw the invite out? Because I'm pretty sure Billy would have invited Sheldon. I mean, like, he's a pretty nice kid. Although Billy, I think, did kind of pick on Sheldon a little bit in elementary school for them. I think that was that's the thing. Although, yeah, but I don't think Billy wouldn't have invited Sheldon, as I said. So it's another Mary and Brenda story, and I kind of like their dynamic that goes off of each other. I like when Mary kind of told Pastor Jeff to talk about being neighborly in church, and yeah, I mean, come on, like, that was pretty good. And yeah, basically, when Mary ended up giving the invite to Sheldon, he didn't even want it. And I mean, that was the thing that Mary probably should have anticipated. Like, come on, why would Sheldon want to go to Billy Sparks' birthday party? And Missy didn't even want him to go, and Sheldon was dressing up as Mr. Spock. So it was kind of a whole thing. And yeah, I enjoyed when Sheldon was over at the party and he started scanning loads of people as Mr. Spock and all that. And yeah, oops. By the way, just a quick little mention. Why does the parents always have to talk in this police sitting room, okay? Like the living room or whatever. George just kind of came in there to watch TV because it was the only TV in the house, but then they just kind of kicked him out. Like, come on, talk about your issues somewhere else. But we did have a very nice moment between Mary and Brenda. It was kind of just them being friendly with each other, which I liked. Um, I do love their dynamic as enemies. But it was nice seeing them at the birthday party, just Brenda letting Sheldon stay until he kind of wasn't allowed to stay again. By the way, Billy singing and Old MacDonald had a farm during church was hilarious. Kind of reminded me of Georgie kind of singing really slowly to the prayers or the hymns back in season 2. So yeah, this is a pretty good plot about the episode, and also George and Doctor Sturgis spend time together, so I mean that's pretty cool, and yeah, of course George feels bad about leaving Doctor Sturgis out and him being kind of like an outsider and being a little bit of a weirdo, and him and Connie interact again, so that's great, and they're gonna maybe start being friends again. Who knows? So there's a fun episode. George and Doctor Sturgis interacting. That it was always fun to see. Okay, and Georgie when Doctor Sturgis arrived, he was pretty fun as well. Yeah, that's one of my favorite episodes of the season so far. So season 3, episode 10. Yeah, Sheldon going into the pool. Nope. Sheldon has to do a swim test for school, but he doesn't want to, so he pretends to be sick. Now, in the Big Bang Theory, Sheldon has gotten sick multiple times, and he's always been really, really annoying to everyone around him. But in this one, Not really, I guess. I mean, he's only pretending to be sick. I mean, I was gonna complain, but then I realized, I mean, yeah, he's just pretending to be sick. Whatever. It was interesting. Okay. I think it was really strange how Sheldon went out of his way to get infected by Billy Sparks. Like, come on, like I really don't think adult. I could not see adult Sheldon doing that. So that just means one thing: Sheldon has gotten significantly more selfish during the years. So you kind of mix in Sheldon being sick and Sheldon lying to everybody. So yeah, it's an episode that's quite alright. Okay, um, so yeah. Though I do feel bad for Georgie and Missy. They didn't really do anything in this story, but Sheldon still tells on them, and it just makes sense that Georgie has gone through a lot of sick days and knows how to get out of them. Well, knows how to get out of school, and it makes so sense that George doesn't see through Sheldon's lie. No, he does see through Sheldon's lie. Yeah. Whatever. I thought one of the best parts about this plot was definitely Mary's soft kitty kind of weird evil mixed soft liar, little ball of fib. It was probably a better decision for Sheldon to tell Mary that he wasn't actually sick before he got infected by Billy Sparks, but you know what? It's all up to you, Sheldon. Whatever. Overall, it's a little bit boring, though. I mean, I really wish something else kind of happened as well. Nothing too major, really, here. By the way, I don't think other than this episode, I don't think I've ever actually seen Sheldon get in water like ever again. So I mean, it's a first. Sheldon finally gets in water after the main series actually ended. He's been in over 300 episodes of this universe now, and only now we've actually seen him swimming. Also, Dr. Sturgis and Connie are now friends again, so that's great. But then Dr. Sturgis goes over his way to spy on Dale. I know seeing Dr. Sturgis is kind of hilarious in this episode, man, especially with the whole sporting cup thing. And in another episode's time, we'll get to see Dale and Dr. Sturgis really interact and have a big fight. But this episode is just kind of bit weird. I like how Sturgis sends both Mima and Dale big cookies to say sorry to them. But seriously, they make me hungry. Like seriously, those cookies are so big. You should get some of them and like Lidl or Aldi. They're one of those shops, and like they weren't nearly as big as that, but they're still pretty big and they're really nice. Whatever, it's funny, and I like how they kind of bring back Doctor just a sports cup again for the very end, and he again saves him. I find that funny, man. This episode, it's pretty good. Okay, so season 3, episode 11 this is the one where Pastor Jeff gets married and all that. So I mean, we actually get some a lot more, some more backstory on kind of Mary and George's whole wedding situation, and they just kind of went down to a city hall, and they didn't really get married, and they have a whole like ceremony and all that, and it was Mary really wanted that, but she couldn't afford it at the time because she was going to have a child and all that, and she couldn't afford it. So Mary basically cried for the entire day. So that was great for Pastor Jeff. And it was actually really fun to see Mima and George look after the kids, especially when George brought home a girl. Yeah, this is the first appearance of the new character Jana, which is kind of Georgie's new love interest. Georgie kind of stopped his relationship with Veronica after he kind of got interested in a girl called Lisa. I think a few episodes ago, I think I forgot to talk about that. But then Lisa just never appears again, and I guess she's kind of replaced with Jana, who kind of looks similar to Lisa, but I mean, she has a different name and sounds different, so no. Kind of weird. So George had to kind of have the sex talk with him, and that didn't really go very well. And Missy brought out a chicken in the house, so that wasn't very good. It was actually just a really, really fun time, to be honest. I think my favorite part of the episode was when Sheldon nearly brought a stranger into their house called Nathan, and he just started. The only reason he was there because Sheldon wanted to watch Star Trek, so that was great. And then the part where we like beamed away, whatever. I don't watch Star Trek, so it was weird. The whole Georgie and Jana situation will come back in another few episodes' time, where we kind of see Mary just have to deal with it and all that, which is actually one of my favorite episodes of the show. So we'll get to that. Season 3, episode 12. This is a very interesting episode. So Paige has kind of been missing for a whole season. The last episode she was in was season 2, episode 10. And before that, she was in like every 2 or 3 episodes, Just in season 2, episode 2, season 2, episode 7, and to season 2, episode 10. So regular appearances for the first half of season two, but then she just kind of disappeared, and now you know what was happening. Her parents have gotten divorced, and everything in Paige's life has kind of downfalled. This is the first episode of what I call the modern Paige episodes. You know, the one where she kind of has a new look every time she appears. Just look at like her season, all of her episodes on season two, and then compare them to all of her episodes in season three onwards. Just every appearance in season three onwards is always just some sort of different look she has. This is her one and only appearance in this season, and it is a pretty good one. Like the last episode she was in, we explore more of Paige and Missy's friendship, which is always nice. I always like to explore that kind of relationship. I like to say what Missy's school life, what the school life is like. So I mean, I guess Paige is the closest thing to that because she's a girl and they're friends. Also, yeah, okay, the later Paige appearances, she is, kind of a rebel. She's not really that smart kid that you kind of knew. And yeah, she doesn't really want to be smart anymore. And we see Dr. Sturgis here, and he gives him some advice to Sheldon about just listening to Paige. And it was really, really nice. I think this is one of the most heartwarming scenes in the entire show, to be honest, because we just see Paige unload all of the stuff onto Sheldon. I mean, good training for a therapist. There's a lot to dive deep into here. Like, Paige just said that her sister's always crying. Now we could presume this is Erica, but I mean, she is like a teenager. I mean, she's like, let's say, around the same age as George, maybe a year younger. So I mean, like, would she really be crying all the time? Like, I doubt it. Like, she's old enough. I really don't feel like she would. Okay, especially because I don't think Paige would be crying all the time. I mean, she's crying here, but that's just because she's unloading all of this stuff, so it kind of just comes out. So, I mean, a possible younger sibling, that is a theory I do have. I mean, it's not confirmed. We've only heard of Erica, and it probably is Erica. I'm probably diving too deep into this. Also, it's nice to get backstory for the cup of coffee that Sheldon always gets for people who are sad, okay? That kind of ritual, actually get an origin story for that. That's actually really nice, okay? Also, it was actually really nice when George said he was part of Sheldon, because that does tend to tie into the other plot. And I just kind of like Sheldon being the narrator. He didn't have any knowledge of that plot that was going on. So he was just saying, I wonder why he picked out this moment. But it was because of the other plot. So it just kind of got me thinking, like, yeah, Sheldon's the narrator. He didn't see that plot going on. He didn't really get the context. That was just really nice. This episode has a really good ending, and the other stuff throughout was really good, okay? An explanation why they never go to the mall. Because Mary doesn't think the mannequins have enough clothes on them. What a bitch. Also, yeah, at the beginning of the episode, George said he was going to put me on at home and just smile just like that. I mean, I'm just going to mention it because George kind of dies early on. And it's just kind of sad when they kind of mention stuff like that. It's also kind of weird. I was rewatching season 1, episode 7 that George and Mima were getting into a fight, and George said they should schedule the kids to see Mima when he was dead. A bit of foreshadowing there, George. Can you predict the future? So the plot where George and Georgie kind of have a fight, and George gets really angry. I love when Mary and Paige's mom were talking, and like Paige's mom was like, "Wow, I'm just so happy that Paige can be around this wonderful family," and then George just comes and slams the door and just goes and yells at his idiot son. Also, when George brought Georgie out to drink and he mentioned Whataburger, I thought it was Waterburger. I'm not American. This is the first time I was hearing about that name. Okay, what's Whataburger? What? By the way, when I actually asked that question, my Google Assistant just came. Google Assistant. What made that came up? Hey Google. Ever George was pretty angry at Georgie and stuff, and Wayne reminded him that he had to be part of his son for all that. But Georgie was still pretty disrespectful, okay. But I mean, he wasn't that bad, okay. Whatever. I don't think he deserves to walk all the way home. Whatever. I would actually do rather the Page plot, but this is still pretty good to see their relationship just kind of progress and kind of see how mature Georgie is compared to the other seasons. I mean, like he has actually a functioning job and all that. Yeah, this is a pretty good episode. So, season 3, episode 13, yes, when we're on, okay. Dale, George, Georgie, and Doctor Sturgis all go camping. So I mean that's cool. And Dale and Doctor Sturgis get into a big fight, and it's pretty good. It's pretty awesome. I love how Mima had to warn both of them about the other. Like that was kind of funny. It reminded me of The Big Bang Theory in season 8, episode 23, when Beverly and Mary were both meeting each other. They had very different personalities, and they eventually clashed, and they eventually kind of fought a lot, and yeah. I mean, I guess they both apologize at the end of that episode, but in this one, and they don't really. Dodgster just kind of runs away. I love the interactions they have with each other. They're very, very different people, and of course George had to go for a piss while he missed all the action. Come on, George. He missed all the drama. Also, I think it's the same set they used for that flashback when George and Georgie brought Sheldon fishing. So I think this is the same place. I mean, continuity. Let's go. Although I wouldn't be complaining. There'll probably be a few places for fishing around here, right? Okay, whatever. That's fine. Also love the interaction that Mary has with George and Georgie before they go. Like this, just you know, tells George to not drink too much beers, and tells Georgie to not drink any. I mean, technically, that is actually what kind of starts the argument where Georgie kind of grabs a beer. So yep. Foreshadowing. Also in this episode, Sheldon and Missy compete in a challenge to do something. You know, when everyone else is gone into the day, they want to do something. It's either something Sheldon wants or something Missy wants, and I kind of just enjoy the games they play and stuff. And Missy ends up cheating to win, and that's great. And then by the end of the day, by the end of the game, it's bedtime. Great, but why can't they just go the next day? Like, isn't that what happens? Missy decides what they do, and they just go like the next weekend or something. It doesn't have to be that day. Surely that's what happens, right? A sad life for Missy, okay? Whatever. And Sheldon was the real winner. It's just a fun plot, okay? And it's nice something for Sheldon and Missy to do. Here in season 3, episode 14, we see Georgie and Sheldon actually hang out for once and actually spend time with each other. Wow. They don't actually get to spend that much time with each other that much. And I think this is the latest episode in the series that actually fully takes advantage of their chemistry with each other. It's a nice how they actually get along. Okay, kind of do an experiment. Georgie, of course, just wants the money, but Sheldon is interested in the science. Just kind of like the scene where they just kind of share their ideologies with each other and stuff. And Sheldon is saying that he wanted to figure out how the universe works and stuff, and it was nice. It's weird comparing the season 1 episode where George cheats on this test compared to this episode where they're spending time with each other. I mean, like, of course, George is a few years older now, but still, it's just weird. But it doesn't really go that well because then Georgie and Sheldon are sneaking into the school to guess to use a 200-degree oven, and Sheldon didn't really know they were sneaking in, so yeah, that didn't very go well. They nearly burnt the school down. But when they were at dinner, why did Sheldon mention that? Like, they literally forgot about that. They were talking about the other plot, okay? Sheldon, just keep your bloody mouth shut. I'm just kind of annoyed that Sheldon and George don't really get interact that much, to be honest. I mean, season 1 had them, and they're interacting a good bit, and a bit of season 2, but this is one of the rare instances that they interact in season 3, 4, and 5. Also, Missy takes advantage of Mary's religion to rub the necklace or something that Mary gave her onto one of her baseball bats. So that was great. I think this was fun as well. It wasn't as good as Sheldon and Georgie plot. I mean, but it was serviceable. I don't really have much to say, to be honest. I like Billy as usual. Yeah, so that's what episode's all right. Weird look from George. But season 3, episode 15 is actually a pretty good one. I love how Mima kind of finds someone who gets her mood. Yeah, Mima and June are basically perfect for each other. They kind of feel like best friends. Also, June's a ginger, so that's great. I just love the opening scene where they kind of like trick each other and stuff like that, and June pretends to be Billy's grandmother. Oh, that was great. And June's also Dale's ex-wife, so that was actually pretty awesome. Them just talking a lot and just hanging out in the bar. It was kind of like a it was nothing really happened in this kind of side of the plot, but I mean it was just kind of cool. Okay, doesn't they hear some stories about Dale, like when he locked June out in the hailstorm. Yeah, that was a weird one, but you know what? It's fine, guys. Okay, look, they're married now. It's all over. It's fine. Also, Dr. Sturgis is in this episode, and both plots actually. We will get to the other plot later. And he's apparently the man of the bar because everyone loves him, and that was actually pretty funny. Also, I love when George is talking to and that's the scientist that came over to Sheldon's house, and the other plot that he says, and that guy says that scientists can be regular people, as well as whatever scientists can be just regular people. And then George is like, not in my experience. Then we just cut to everyone rubbing Doctor Sturgis's head in the bar. And okay, now I need when the phone call with June and Dr. Sturgis comes up, I need to talk about this. So Sturgis is not exactly over Connie. Okay, he sees if June is automatically interested in him, but she's not. I'm just gonna say that. I was just gonna say thankfully. And it's cool, and it kind of feels like Doctor Sturgis kind of go do something about it, and maybe Dale will actually break up with Connie and stuff because June does say that Dale's gonna mess it up. But as you might know, because I'm pretty sure you've probably seen the whole season by now. Have you? I'm gonna spoil the end of the season. Dale does mess up, but they don't exactly break up. They do end up getting back together. So what's up with that? Whatever, it could be setting up for something in the future. Who knows? But it always just rubbed me the wrong way. I was really excited for because this episode kind of hypes you up, kind of thing. Will Sturgis and Mima get back together? Who knows? But June isn't the only character that is introduced in this episode. Also, in the second plot of this episode, well, I mean, you can technically call it the main plot, but I think the Mima, Doctor Sturgis, and June and Dale and other plot takes up more time. The introduction of Sam and the other guy who's here, and they're gonna go over to Sheldon's house for a group project, and that was kind of fun. Okay, it was nice seeing Mary and Sam interact. It was fun to see them all argue, and that Keith is the name of the boy, and George just talking about him, and I just really cannot imagine George being skinny, just like man. Also, Dr. George is in both plots, yeah. So it was nice whenever I end up seeing how the project actually ends up or what grade it has, but I mean, that's great. Also, I look how Mary just washes Keith's underwear. I mean, Sam actually returns for episodes in the future seasons, but Keith never does. I don't know, because Blake just didn't really give a crap about this project. Whatever, both these plots are really good. Okay, I like the interactions between all the characters and stuff, and it was nice. Okay, season 3, episode 16 is my favorite episode of season 3, and it's a good one. Sheldon and George go to Pasadena, and it's really good. The fan service at the end where they go to Caltech. We actually see the room where Sheldon, Raj, Howard, and Leonard all have their lunch every day. I mean, that's really cool. And okay, I just love when Sheldon's like scared about going on the plane, and George is there to support him and all that. That was actually just really nice. Okay, like honestly, it was just such a good moment between father and son. One of George and Sheldon's best moments, and they've had some good ones. Okay, like I really missed this when they actually used to do these episodes because I really don't think we've gotten that in season 5 so far. Really, have we? Well, I mean, season 5 is done. We haven't really got any like moments like this. They just really show off the characters really well. Just the stress from George because he has to get Sheldon out of there and stuff, and the flight attendant just being just kind of annoying though. Like I mean, like of course she wants them to return their receipts, but like George is trying to get Sheldon to, get back to the seat. I really don't understand what Sheldon's goal was here. I really don't think it was possible for them to get off of the plane because they were literally going to take off. And when they held their hands, I mean that was so good. Okay, and yeah, I mean, come on, man. This is just one of the strongest moments. I also love when Sheldon tells Missy about the whole thing and then go to Caltech and Missy just being just really, really annoyed. It's justified. Yeah. This episode does actually kind of make it feel bad for Missy because she gets left out so much. Also, in the other part of the story, it's kind of weird to look back at this part now, considering what has been going on in season 5 recently. But no more spoilers for season 5, of course. Joji lied to his mother about going over to Jana's house. He said that their parents were there, but no, Mary was listening in their phone call, so taking advantage of that really old technology. I'm just gonna stop for a minute to say like how weird it was that they had that when you actually you couldn't be on one more than one phone call at once. It was just really weird. Like what technology? Am I right? I like man, that'd be really annoying. Okay, because like three people could be at a phone call at once. I mean, what? Can that even happen nowadays? Whatever. And Mary is talking about how Georgie was a mistake and all that, and how she said that. Okay, you know what I mean, man. She had said there were some mistakes that you know. She was saying how there was some mistakes that you could never make a walk away from, and it did remind me of the season 1 episode where Georgie brought that up. I was talking to his mother about Georgie being a mistake and all that, and Mary just like brushed it off. But yeah, and it just sad kind of what happens in season 5 to continue what we're talking about in this episode. But it doesn't go against this episode. It actually kind of goes up against season 5, in my opinion. This is a great episode. This is definitely one of my favorites of the season. Both plots are just so good. Okay, just the chemistry between the characters and all that, and it was just great. I really want more episodes like this. Well, not episodes where like Sheldon and George go on a trip specifically, but when they actually have that kind of chemistry with each other. So season 3, episode 17. This fun fact: this is the last time we see full Doctor Sturgis in the flesh, I guess, with him actually interacting with someone and not just like a phone call. Well, he does actually appear in the flesh again in season 3, episode 19, but he doesn't really portray Dr. Sturgis. I mean, he doesn't really act like Dr. Sturgis. He's in a dream as well, so kind of feels like they just used Wallace Shawn to play someone in Sheldon's dream, to be honest. It doesn't really feel like Dr. Sturgis. He's in a different outfit, and Sheldon doesn't refer to him as Dr. Sturgis, so I mean, it's kind of weird, It's also Mr. Sheldon's dream. Then in season 4, he just appears on phone calls all the time because of COVID, and then again in season 4, episode 17. So basically 21 episodes from now, he appears again in the flesh. I thought it was interesting, but the plot actually here is where Sheldon and Dr. Sturgis are doing like a paper, and Dr. Sturgis doesn't really credit Sheldon's a co-author, and Sheldon gets annoyed. And some people think that Dr. Sturgis was actually pretty mean, and no one likes Dr. Sturgis anymore. Or no, and they don't like Dr. Sturgis anymore. But I have to disagree, okay? I think Sheldon was way out of line calling Dr. Linklater and all that. I mean, he was acting like a little piece of crap, to be honest. Late season 3 tries to push that Sheldon is like still pretty immature and not really ready for college yet. And then in like 3 episodes later, his mother agrees to send him to college full time. Okay. Dr. Sturgis was in the right here. Also, Sheldon's in the footnotes, and I mean, Sheldon and Dr. Sturgis have been working on this thing for a very long time, and Sheldon did help, I guess, but I didn't think I thought it really hit hard when Dr. Sturgis called Sheldon up and said that he's not allowed to come to his college classes anymore, and I mean that just kind of hurt, to be honest. And yeah, I mean, Sheldon deserved it. Okay, when the phone stopped and then there's just silence. I really like that. Okay, and then the credits roll, so that's just great. Okay. Also love the fight they get into in the college, and then Mimo just kind of have to walk in and stuff and all that, and just love the banter they have between them. Just all of that. It was just really weird. The other plot of this episode is Mary tries really hard to get a girl trophy for Missy in baseball. Yeah. This isn't as good as the Doctor Sturgis blocks. That's good. But I like this one. I like this kind of connection with Mary and Missy. Okay, they do still have something, and it's understandable. It's understandable why Missy doesn't want to be embarrassed and all that. So, and also I just do kind of like to look at the trophy with the big head. And I don't know, man. Although the guy at the trophy shop was a bit of an ass, he still just give a laugh out of me. And I like the scene where Missy blows up the little trophies. It's like, all right, this is pretty cool. And I always love seeing Brenda and Mary interact. One of the best pairings in the show. Yeah, I mean, this is one of the final episodes where they're actually rivals. And there's a third plot in this episode, which is like in the middle, let's say, and there's 2 plots because it's actually pretty good, and it doesn't like stay that long, okay? Because I feel like this isn't fit to be the main plot of the episode, probably like a subplot. But we see Veronica again, and this is the latest we've seen from her. Unfortunately, she doesn't appear in either season 4 or 5. I'm really hoping she returns at some point. But it's really cool to see her and just we see that Georgie still kind of does have a thing for her. Of course, Veronica turned him down. So yeah, Georgie had to go off in a separate way, looking for other girls. He did eventually get over Veronica. But we see that Jana is a bit of a bitch. Because, yeah, sure, Georgie met his ex in a restaurant and Jana got really mad. Like, why was she complaining? Like, I just don't understand. At least in the next episode, in episode 18, she has a bit more of a reason to get annoyed. But, like, I just don't understand. Like, okay, man, we know they've barely been dating. Maybe, like, a month or two, okay? But we first see her in episode 11, and I mean, a few episodes before that, we saw him flirting with like this girl called Lisa. So we obviously know that they haven't been dating for that long. So I just don't understand why she's getting too annoyed at Veronica. But like whatever. I mean, that's her character, guys. Okay, just because characters aren't nice doesn't mean I don't like them. But yeah, I mean, Jana is kind of my least favorite out of the three main love interests for Georgie. Also, Jana wanted to change Georgie's hair. Like, come on, man! No. Georgie's hair just suits being long. I love it, man. Like, honestly, Georgie's hair is one of the best features about him. Season 3, episode 18. Oh man, this is one of my favorite ones because I remember George and Miss Hutchins. Miss Hutchins ends up getting really injured and stuff, and it's all George's fault. I love the final scene where like it's on the news and everything. That was hilarious. We're also bringing something back from season 2, episode 12, where George was so guilty over letting Sheldon get sick that he was like buying loads of presents for him until the football started kicking off. That has get brought back here. George is really very annoyed with himself for getting him searching getting hurt and all that. He does literally everything for her, which is it's just hilarious. So yeah, also apparently when he slammed the door on Missy's thumb, he went crazy about that as well. Wow, George, wow. And the part that I've seen where George goes over to Miss Hutchins' house and gets her cats, that's one of my favorite scenes of the whole show. It's just hilarious, man. And we're still continuing the plot with Dr. Sturgis and Sheldon. We don't actually see Sturgis in this episode. It would be nice, but he doesn't really fit into the plot. He doesn't really need to be here. But Miss Hutchins makes Sheldon realize that he needs to apologize to him. Also, Sheldon and his mother had a falling out, and they eventually get together, again. Also, the final scene where the older Sheldon said that Sheldon eventually wore his mother down. That was funny. Okay, we know he wears everybody down. In the story that Miss Hutchins was actually really sad, but then it was revealed that she was saying about her cat that ran away. That was a bit weird. Sean's a bit obnoxious though in this episode. You can kind of see that he's very immature at the beginning, and it kind of feels a little bit forced in a few areas. Like he's very, very inconsiderate to Miss Hutchins. Like seriously, like wow. Kind of feels a little bit jarring, but I mean it was still funny. It kind of feels like this is adult Sheldon at this point. In this episode, it just kind of feels like that. Adult Sheldon and child Sheldon are a little bit different. Sometimes child Sheldon can be a little bit more mature. That is pretty weird. Okay, so the other plot was just more George and Jana. Yeah. Okay, this is a good one. This is a bit. Yeah, sure. Jana actually has more of a reason to get annoyed because George is looking at other girls. But then again, I mean, are they really that serious? I mean, just George doesn't want to have like a very serious relationship and all that, and that. But I guess he was looking at other girls and stuff. But the wrong words came out when he said he wanted to date other girls alongside of her. Yeah, George, that sounded weird. Also, Mima and Dale are talking about their relationship as well, and uh, yeah, that's something. So Georgie and Jenna kind of break up in this episode. I mean, she kind of walks out on him. So I mean, it kind of seems like that, but they're kind of together in season 4. So I don't know what's going on. Whatever. This episode is good. I love this plot with Georgie and Mima talking to each other and stuff, and Mima trying to get some out of Georgie. Just trying to make him spill the beans about what Dale's getting up to and all that. This was fun. Season 3, episode 19 is good, man. We're on a winning streak with season 3 right here. I mean, I like, actually, one thing I like about this episode is like how Mrs. Hutchins says the caster on her neck. That's some continuity, but maybe the actress actually got hurt in real life. I don't know, maybe. I like the montage where Sheldon tried to get everyone to move into the new house in this neighborhood. That was just funny, okay? Hilarious. It was a banger. And this is the seasonally appearance of Mr. Lundy. This is where we actually we learned that he's going to appear every season, whether we like it or not. I think this was his last good episode. I mean it's fine. It's weird that how he's selling houses, but whatever. I feel like he's not like kind of shoehorned in here. Like with season 4 and 5, I kind of feel like they just had Mr. Lundy in there just because I don't know, just to have him in there just for the sake of it. But this, I mean, I kind of like this episode where Sheldon tries to get everyone to sell the house, and Mr. Lundy, they just got him for like just to be a character to sell the houses, I guess. And yeah, he's kind of money hungry. He's one of those characters who he's just in it for the money because well, yeah, a lot of people are in it for the money. Okay, he doesn't give a crap about Sheldon. Also, like Pastor Jeff and Robin ended up moving into the house and they're expecting a baby. Yay! Also, this is the last appearance of Robin, so oops. So yeah, Sheldon's looking around here to be pretty annoyed. I think Tam was in this episode. I'm pretty sure. He really is not in season 3 as much as I thought. However, I don't know why Mary is so concerned about Pastor Jeff moving in. I mean, he does eventually do that, but I just don't understand why she's so just doesn't want that to happen. Like, what's wrong with it? Okay, I know they work together and then they'll be living next door to each other, but like, it's fine, man. Okay, I don't really understand. Also, this episode we see more of Missy and Mima having a dynamic. I felt like that was great. I like the interactions they had in season 3, episode 16, and other episodes too. We see Missy having a crush on someone, Marcus, and she has to pitch against him and all that. And I think this is his second appearance, but in the last appearance, he was holding hands with another girl, and Missy threw an apple at his face. And I'm pretty sure he's the same character. Wait, no. He was in season 3, episode 15, when Georgie and Missy went to the mall, and I forgot to cover that plot. Whatever. That was a good one. I liked seeing a young Georgie there. That was cool. Georgie being an overprotective bro. That was funny to see. You don't really see that part of his character very often. So this is cool, I guess. And Marcus will play a good role in season 4. I mean, we won't appear that much, but I mean, kind of ties into the end of the season and all that. So I mean, this is actually a pretty good plot. And the episode is good, not as good as episode 17 and 18, but like, what can? Season 3, episode 20. This episode doesn't actually have George in it, like at all, okay? This is one of the 2 episodes that don't have one of the parents in it. Season 4, episode 8 does not have Mary in it, so that's cool. And the first 2 episodes of the show don't have Mima in it, but I mean, she doesn't count as a parent, okay? So shut up, Mima. Sheldon dreams about the unified field theory and solving it, and yeah, but he learns that the pursuit of science is better than just learning it. I don't know, something about that crap. I like the part with him and the dentist. I like the dentist's attitude and all that, and I mean, this episode was okay. I mean, this part of the plot, I mean, it was kind of forgettable in a few ways. Like what really happened in with Sheldon, I don't know, man. This plot was okay. But the other few are way better. Okay, so the other plot in this episode is where Dale and Mima go off gambling. Oh yeah, the last time Mima and Sturgis went up gambling, it didn't really go very well. Yeah. Dale proposes to Mima, and even if Mima was thinking about marriage, I really don't think a smart person would marry Dale this soon into their relationship. Okay, now look, okay. Mima has only known Dale for maybe 6 months. I don't know. They started dating in like season 3, episode 6 or 7. And, like it's 13 episodes later, I think. So Yeah, okay. So if each season was a year, that would be over, let's say, 7 months. But each season is not a year. I think season 2 and 3 is a year, so it would only limit me like 4 months they've known each other. I'm just saying it's really stupid. But anyway, I love how Dale actually leaves Georgie behind at the store. That was actually kind of fun, and they got fun of Dale. It's pretty grandpa music. Anyway, back to the marriage thing. So of course Mima says no again and again with one big fight and all that, and it's crazy. And Georgie lets the store get robbed, and yeah, sad life for Georgie because he gets fired at the end of it because Dale is in a really bad mood, and yeah, I mean that's kind of sad. It was a pretty dramatic way to end off the episode, kind of like season 3, episode 17. I mean, it was just a fun one, okay? Honestly, just relationship goals, this kind of changes the stuff in Mima and Dale's relationship, and they kind of break up in a way. I don't know. We will see. Will they stay broken up? I don't know. And the finale. Okay, let's cover the Dale and Mima stuff first because this is, the main plot. Because I want to cover the next thing and just really get into it and all that because it's series changing. It changes the series, obviously, of course. If you know the plot, then you obviously know how much it changes the series. So this second plot, Dale and Mima argue over the phone, and that's just kind of it. I mean, it's kind of like it's kind of the subplot for the first half of the episode, but then it kind of just gets dropped in the second half because the main plot is just it's too good for this one. I do like when Georgie and Mima go and egg Dale's store. I mean, that was actually pretty funny. Yeah. They play that chicken song as well. So yeah, but Dale doesn't actually apologize until next time, so it doesn't really feel like anything really happens here. I mean, I feel like they were gonna do something with that, like in this episode, but then the college project took way too much time. But I mean, Dale was supposed to apologize in this season because it happens in season 4, episode 1. Season 4, episode 1 was supposed to be season 3, episode 22, but because of COVID, poop. So the main plot of the final episode of season 3 is started by a piece of hot dog rolling under the fridge. I mean, it wasn't supposed to be the finale, so I guess I can give it that. This episode's fun, but it's kind of weird how Sheldon does not want to read the letter because in season 6, episode 20, I don't know, no, episode 18, 18, I'm pretty sure. Sheldon literally reads the letter that Howard got from his father, just without even probably thinking about it. I just kind of feels like it was a regular thing for him. So, like, what happened, man? Like, when he was a kid, he was actually, like, cautious of reading letters that weren't, meant for him. So, whatever. I mean, it kind of feels like, it sounds like Sheldon to not want to read the letter, but then again, it's in the Big Bang Theory he does. So I mean, kind of feels like it's more of a problem with the Big Bang Theory, to be honest. But I'm just mentioning it. And yeah, it's another Sheldon gonna go to college episode, and it's the final one because Sheldon actually goes to college at the end of this episode. Well, I mean, the parents agreed to send him to college, and eventually does in season 4, episode 7. But he isn't going anywhere far away. He's just going to East Texas Tech full time because he was going there to his Dr. Sturgis classes like every week or something like that. So I mean that was cool. I love how I feel all of his teachers like just really wanted him to go. Just like they hated him. However, so Mary and George getting a big fight. Wow, mixed with Sheldon going to college. Wow, with some Sheldon and George bonding. Wow, with an emotional moment. Wow, all of it mixed together. It's a pretty good season finale. I like this one. Okay, it was a good one. Okay. I like how the hot dog was actually the one thing that started the plot. I know I was completely kind of complaining about it earlier, but it was kind of fun. And the video Sheldon set up was actually just kind of heartwarming and stuff. And Mary kind of actually smoking, like what? And this also ties into season 5 with the whole Pastor Rob situation. And Brenda and Mary could become friends. I'm not the biggest fan of this. I did like the rivalry, but I mean, it was all right. I like how they had an emotional moment because Mary was actually crying. So it would have been actually really rude of Brenda to just say, "F you, why you cry?" So yeah, this was a great season finale, and yeah, if I saw the season finale, I'd be really excited for season 4. So overall, season 3 is actually pretty good. I think it might be slightly better than season 2, so it might be my favorite season of Young Sheldon of all time. So that's pretty cool. Season 4 is my favorite season of Big Bang Theory. Season 3 is my favorite season of Young Sheldon. So basically, it kind of hits the peak earlier on the show and never gets back there again. And season 5 ends up being a disappointment. It was actually pretty good season. Towards the end of the season was really good. I love season 4, season 3, episode 12, 17, 18. There's some just coming to mind, okay? And that sets up things for next season when Dale and Mima's relationship might continue to get worse. And it's Sheldon goes to college next season and all that, and just all of that stuff. It's going to be great. And as I said, this season it has been cut short because of COVID. Instead of having the regular 22 episodes, it only had 21 episodes. And I think they are already recorded a part of the season finale, so that some of that was used for season 4, episode 1, but they had to reshoot a couple of things. Also, as I said, Tam is not appearing in this episode as the season as much. I think I appeared in like around 10 in the season 1 and 2 each, but in the season I think he only appeared in 5 episodes. So also this is actually the season that had the most Doctor Sturgis in it. He makes 13 appearances in the season, but then one of them is a flashback, so it doesn't really count. Whatever. This season is pretty good. Don't really have anything else to say about it. And yeah, guys, I will see you next time for another video. Next week will be my Rogue One review, and then the week after that will be Big Bang Theory season 6 retrospective, and then Young Sheldon season 4 retrospective the week after that. Yeah, see you then.